Welcome to the VAFA William Buck SEN Match of the Day.
He has a bounce, he crosses 50, he pins the ears back, and he drills the goal! You can tweet that and hashtag it bloody good.
He goes high up and under the full foot. Becky's taking a ripper!
Makes a name for himself with these long bombs from outside the arc. It's a long bomb from outside the arc!
Hello and welcome back to Saturday afternoon amateur footy. Round 12 of the William Buck Premier Men's season has us out at the TH King Oval, the home of St Kevin's, as we resume one of Top Flight's most compelling rivalries. Since the Scobbers faced off with Old Brighton in the 2022 VAFA Premier Men's Grand Final, the two teams have played off 6 times, and those 6 games have all been decided by 7 points or fewer. It's a remarkable streak of close contests, and it suggests that we go to the double bye next week and the Big V break with a real treat today. The Tunners have won their last 3 matchups against St Kevin's by a total margin of 14 points, mind you, and the Scobbers, they're primed for some revenge on its home turf. It's the VAFA William Buck SEN Match of the Day, live on vafa.com.au and the SEN website and app. Paddy Grindlay with you again this afternoon, and Matthew Donald has made the trip over the river. He sits beside me in the co-caller's chair. Good afternoon, Matty Donald.
Good afternoon, Paddy. Good afternoon, everyone. And I tell you what, in the middle of the season, nothing whets the appetite quite like a top 4 encounter, and that's what we've got today. First against fourth on the ladder. We're starting to approach the business end now of the season. A lot of 8-point games, a lot of litmus tests coming up for teams as we approach the business end of the season, the finals, and this is going to shape things up very nicely for the victor today as we approach the run home.
This is the Saturday warm-up, all thanks to Mequicare, providing care for more than 16,500 people each week across Greater Melbourne and regional Victoria since 1959, and thanks to HitIQ and its game-changing Protect Concussion Management System. Use the code VAFA50 to get $50 off at hitiq.com. We've brought some genuine expertise into the commentary box, not to slight our man Hugo Higginbotham, who's enjoying some sunshine up in the northern part of the country. He does a truly excellent job in this space every week. But I've heard some great things about Pat Cortazzo on other VAFA media broadcasts this year, and it's a pleasure for the first time to welcome him into the special comments chair. Thanks to HitIQ today. Pat Cortazzo, good afternoon.
Thanks, thanks Paddy, thanks Manny. Yeah, good to be here. What a day we have for footy, 17 degrees, and the middle looks like we're ready for a wet weather game.
It does, it's very choppy in the middle indeed. We'll get to all the ground conditions report in the next 15 minutes or so before the bounce here. We'll also hear from our boundary rider Raj Johnston with both coaches a little bit later on. Now Pat, we are all enamoured with how Old Brighton's been going this year so far. 10-1 in Super Nick, the runners-up of last year, of course. Now, you have the floor. What do you know about the Tunners? It's been an interesting last month of form for them.
Yeah, they've been very... It's probably that, I guess, that mid-year lull you can have as when you go on so well. Yeah, pretty much the one thing that I've actually looked at with Old Brighton as well, even though they have been having patches where they haven't been playing probably great footy, in terms of their numbers, they're still pretty much number 1 across the board. I'm looking at for the last month, and they've got 5 stats that they're ranked first in for differentials. We're looking at disposals, contest possession, particularly in ground balls, which obviously are big work rate things for Old Brighton, and they've just had streaky quarters. They've had, I was looking at the numbers and even looking at last week, 7 goals straight in the second quarter, and then proceeded to have 0 goals 5 in the third, and then the week before 5 goals 6 in the first into 0 goals 3. So it's just trying to get a bit more consistency back in the 4-quarter effort that we've seen from Old Brighton for most of the season to this point.
Yeah, you're spot on. It's a close run thing in a number of statistical categories for Old Brighton and St Kevin's, which indicates to us that hopefully this is a really close game of footy this afternoon. One man who knows Old Brighton better than anyone else because he's their coach is Marcel Bruin, and Raj Johnston is beside him.
Thanks, guys. I'm joined by Tunners coach Marcel Bruin. Thanks for your time, Marcel. You're top of the ladder, 10-1, but nonetheless, how important is a win today to solidify that top 2 spot?
Yeah, it's really important, Raj. This four-week block's been a big challenge for us in terms of having personnel available. So we knew it was going to be a bit more challenging, certainly than earlier parts of the year where we had a lot of personnel to pick from. So, today's game's really going to be a big challenge, and we're looking forward to it.
It was a great game you had against St Kevin's earlier in the year. What are you expecting from them today?
Yeah, probably not dissimilar, mate. We're going to try and hopefully shut them down a little bit. They've got a lot of talent running around there, and Plugger gets them playing in a really sophisticated way, particularly defensively. So if we can try and, get inside that from time to time and generate some scoring opportunities, I think we'll be going okay. But, yeah, they're just a professional outfit, so we're sort of ready for anything, yeah.
Just more broadly, keen to know how's the playing West holding up this point of the season. We approach the middle weeks. How are we going on the injuries, conditions? Obviously, you've lost some players to warmer climates, but that aside, how's the rest of the group stacking up?
We've got a few out here that are probably playing their first game for the year in the twos, which shows you probably we've got some challenges with depth at the moment. But we've still got a lot of talented guys that are ready to step up and understand the way we want to play. So it makes it easier to plug them in and certainly give them an opportunity. So they've earned an opportunity as well off the back of personnel leaving. They obviously get it.
Just quickly, could you run us through the changes to your team today?
So we've got 6 changes today, Raj. We lost a few on the weekend. Maxi Benier, unfortunately, our key defensive or key back, he's done his ACL, so he's out for the year. Tom Yorgie got concussed. Hamish Dick had to get a few stitches and some plastic surgery on the weekend. Lost another one on Thursday night, and then 2 VFL guys go back up and play. Yeah, obviously in the game they want to be playing in. So, 6 new guys come in, a few from the twos, and a couple from the under-19s.
We're all really looking forward to today. What could shape as a September preview, perhaps. Thanks for your time, Marcel.
Thanks, Raj.
Back to you guys.
Thanks to Marcel Bruin and Raj Johnston there as part of the Saturday warm-up for Mequicare. This is the VAFA William Buck SEN Match of the Day, live every Saturday afternoon on vafa.com.au and the SEN app. Interesting to hear the insights there of Marcel Bruin. So those ins and outs, the ins, Gus Cork makes his debut, as does Andrew Langworthy for Old Brighton, Ben Branson, Yondre Olivier, Sam Fanning and Zach Travers. The other ins, the outs, Max Benier with that ACL. Unfortunate, as Marcel Bruin mentioned. Tom Yorgie out with concussion. Will Lewis and Kai Dimatina go up to the VFL. Hamish Dick is out with that head gash. And the other out was Gus McCluskey, Lockie McCluskey, I should say, who is absent today for Old Brighton. Let's go back down now to Raj Johnston. He's got the coach of St Kevin's, Anthony Lynch.
Thanks, Paddy. Joined by St Kevin's coach Anthony Lynch. Thanks for your time, Plugger. When you last played the Tunners in round 4, it was a narrow loss. Do you use that as a motivating tool during the week, or is it a fresh game for you guys?
I think it was too far ago, mate. Our motivation is about trying to put 2 good performances together. I thought last week our second half was the best 2 quarters of the year. Our ability to put that together today is critical.
So as you just touched on there, it was a big win against St Bernard's last week. What were your key takeaways from that game?
I just thought it was the best we'd defended as a group for the year. We really got back to our DNA, which has come forward pressing defence, and then I thought our ball movement was really strong as well. So if we take care of those 2 things today, it'll go a long way to winning.
How did your personnel match up against the Tunners?
Well, I think the history would say really well, because the games have been decided by under a kick. So I think both groups match up really well against each other. There's a lot of respect between the 2 groups, but we're really keen to get a win on our home deck today.
Just finally, any changes to your team from last week?
We've had 2 changes, so Paddy Kerr and Ollie Gill are out. Andrew Matheson and Ben Mansfield are in.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Raj.
Andy Matheson in for his first VAFA game of 2020-25 today. He's played the 8 games and kicked the 2 goals for Sandringham, averaging 11.5 disposals and 3.8 tackles. So he'll be an important piece down back today for St Kevin's. Raj Johnston coming to us today courtesy of ARA Property Services, offering a comprehensive range of cleaning, maintenance and rapid response services for commercial, industrial, healthcare, education, government and food manufacturing facilities. Headed up by CEO Paul McCann, who is a long-term sponsor and a past player of St Kevin's. Visit propertyservices.aragroup.com.au for more. Pat Cortazzo, anything from that conversation that piqued your interest there from Plugger Lynch?
Yeah, I think the fact he's talking about their team defence and their pressing, and probably now with the changes that we've just heard from Old Brighton, having 6 changes and having a lot of younger boys coming in, how important that could be today around just the pressure they can put on. It's probably one area of St Kevin's game, even looking at the last month, they're 9th for tackle diff as well. So really, if they can get that pressure and their defence can come to play, it'll be pretty tough for this Old Brighton team to kind of get that uncontested possession game going.
Yeah, it'll be a really interesting game, this one. So the last time we saw these teams, it was also the SEN Match of the Day back in round 4 at Brighton Beach Oval, and it took a Felix Flockhart set shot to split the difference between the 2 squads late. Tom Ferguson put St Kevin's ahead down the stretch, and he gave the big shush to the balcony there at Brighton Beach Oval, and then Felix Flockhart eventually with the winner. These 2 teams have been neck and neck for the last couple of years, so we expect a wonderful game of footy here at the TH King Oval. Matty Donald, players that you're looking out for today, there are a fair few of them across both playing lists. I know that you've been poring over the fact that St Kevin's will be hot around the footy, and considering how muddy that centre wicket area is, I think it's a day for Luke Winter.
Well, I was going to say, conditions tailor-made for winter. He's probably their chief midfielder in terms of winning the ball and getting the ball moving forward for St Kevin's. When you look at his numbers across the course of the season, averaging nearly 19 contested possessions a game and 11.5 clearances. So there's going to be a heavy reliance on Winter to be able to get the ball moving forward for St Kevin's. It's a very good midfield that he's coming up against. These two teams are 1 and 2 in the league for contested possessions in 2025. So it's going to be hotly contested, and that mud patch is it's going to be a key battleground in the stakes for today's game.
And Luke Winter, incidentally, a Big V nominee this year as well. That's happening next weekend over at Sports Cover Arena at Elstonwick Park as the Big V senior men's and senior women's team hosts the Perth Footy League. Women's game is from 1 p.m, men's from 3:30. Tickets available at the gate for $10. And then if you're not sated with your Big V entertainment, you can go up to the Queen Elizabeth Oval in Bendigo on the Sunday for the Big V under-19s and the Premier B2 Division 3 teams. They're going to also take on the Bendigo Footy League. Tickets available there at the gate as well. All streaming live and free, though, at VAFA.com.au. The skipper of the men's Big V team is Harry Hill. He's the skipper of Old Brighton. We'll see him today in the number 4. Pat Cortazzo. He's a gun, Harry Hill. He's been a gun for a long, long time. You've got a big book of numbers in front of you. What do they tell you about Harry Hill?
Yeah, well, they're probably I tend to like to look at the last month when I'm looking at the VAFA now, particularly as we're at this point of the year. And, 29 disposals, 7 clearances, and 130 Premier Data ranking points in the last month. But also with his partner in crime there in Tom Fisher as well, pretty much the exact same averages in the last month as well. So that's going to be a really important battle because we've just spoken about Luke Winter and that St Kevin's midfield and how important I think the clearance is going to be, because probably looking at those changes, I'm looking at where Old Brighton are going to get their goals from today. That's probably the big thing for me looking at this game.
So it's, Will Lewis and Hamish Dick. They've been the goal scorers this year for Old Brighton. I think it's 17 goals that they're losing out of their forward half over the last 4 weeks.
Since round 8, So definitely I think just how they can handle the midfield battle and you can get the ball forward, and maybe we see Felix Lockhart go forward and be a bit more of a target as well. But it's going to be an interesting battle today. And then, that's probably the big thing that I was looking at St Kevin's, particularly last week against St Bernard's, are plus 31 clearances against St Bernard's. And you got Winter with 25 disposals, 11 clearances, Coates as well, 19 and 10, Ferguson 24 and 7, and Marnie 30 and 6. But then the week before, they played Old Zavs, who were second on the table, and minus 11 clearances and minus 16 points from that area, and those guys were under 20 disposals. So it's kind of one of those things is how important they need to just continue on from that St Bernard's game, particularly if they're going to go a long way to winning this game against Old Brighton today.
Geez, he is so well prepared as our man, Pat, today. He's got the Hit IQ special comments credit, and he's out to shore up his space, I think, in that chair. Let's head down now for ARA Property Services to Raj Johnston, who's on the boundary for us. Clear skies overhead, Raj. There's a bit of wind around. You've just seen a toss. Who's kicking what way?
Yeah, hello again, Paddy. Harry Hill has won the toss, and Old Brighton will be kicking to the wetlands end, as we've dubbed it, which means St Kevin's are going to the High Street end. Now, no, this is the time of year where a lot of VAFA personnel leave for warmer climates, but why would you want to be anywhere else than Melbourne today? 17 degrees, blue skies, not much rain. I don't think there's going to be any rain about. We'll keep an eye on that, but it's blue skies, great day, bit of a breeze, so we'll see how that takes into shape in the first half.
We'll see you on the 6 o'clock news, I reckon, with a cross like that, Raj Johnston, before too long. Magnificent stuff from you. Just want to ask you if there's a wind blowing down at ground level. It feels a little bit blustery here in our commentary box.
Yeah, there is. You're right. Bit of a northerly breeze. You think that's why Harry Hill elected to go the way he did. So, there is a breeze. Not as significant as you'd see at Brighton Beach Oval in this reverse game earlier in the year, but there's still a breeze.
Fantastic stuff from our man Raj. So Harry Hill and the Tunners to the right of your radio dial in the first quarter, brought to you by McCormick Property Services, working across the commercial, education, government, industrial and residential sectors. They can help provide a variety of building and fit-out services to occupiers and property owners, and their SCOB sponsors since 2022. You can visit mccormick.com.au. That's MCCORMACK.com.au. Gentlemen, before we get underway here at the TH King Oval, Pat, a quick tip from you, if you please.
Oh, I think Matty would probably want to draw here actually today, but I'm going to go with St Kevin's. I think I'm going to go with just the changes for Old Brighton. It's just going to be hard for that synergy with that group, but look, they're a quality side. I'll probably say St Kevin's by a goal. I think we'll go with that under 10 points.
No, we needed the Old Brighton draw last week. A lot of outs today for Old Brighton, and they've been vulnerable the last few weeks. So I'm going to go St Kevin's here at home.
We're expecting a close one, as always, between these two wonderful VAFA clubs. It's the VAFA SEN William Buck match of the day. Here's Matthew Donald.
First versus fourth. The umpire throws the ball up. He's already forgone bouncing it in those conditions. Tack it off the ground by Flockhart out towards the far side. And then getting a kick through there towards half forward was Tucker. Coming out to meet it. Taken in a strong tackle, and we'll get a stoppage inside 50. It was Adochi. Tossed up about 35 metres out here from St Kevin's goal. Kicking to the left of your radio dial. Coates won the tap down, looking for Cameron. Now on hands and knees at the bottom of it, trying to wrestle the ball clear, but without success. And we'll have another stoppage in a similar area of the ground. Flockhart got it down that time. There is Winter, got the hand pass out. There's Adochi, snaps it around the body towards goal. Mark's going to count. Flying up high was Darmody, he got hands to it, couldn't take the mark. And then the defenders converge around him and will force another stoppage.
Just trying to look for some matchups early on for both teams in the midfield.
Flockhart, first ruck today for Old Brighton, wins it down. Big tackle late. There's the body of Cork on debut, getting a little bit of an early workout. Gussie Cork, the 22-year-old out of East Sandy and East Brighton. 9 reserves games before his senior debut, along with 32 under-19s games. So he's been a fixture for the Tunners. Ball back in the air at left half forward for St Kevin's, and it's pretty tight and willing stuff so far. The umpire getting a decent workout as Lowen brings down Cameron. Just within the arc of 50. You can hear that wind in our effects mic, just blowing towards the broadcast side, the TH King Pavilion side of the ground, as Tom Fisher wins the clearance and kicks it down the wing. Seagar went for a fly, couldn't bring it down. Matheson will cut it out of play for St Kevin's, just beneath us, neutral territory.
Yeah, tight early start, both teams. They're not going to give it in, surely. They're obviously the top 2 clearance teams in the competition, and they're just fighting hard inside early. Just looking at, looks like Hodges and Hill on each other at this stoppage.
It's going to be a key matchup, one of many throughout the day. Coates with the tap down. Richards was there, the ball bounced past him. And there is Hodges there applying the tackle on his opposite number at Seager, and a stoppage here, Sinoi.
Now, Matthew Donald, you asked for the stoppage world record a few weeks ago. I just wanted to check if you've actually found that as this ball goes back in the air.
No, still working hard to try to figure out that one there, Paddy. Fisher tries to get the kick away, it's smothered. Going to play another boundary throw in. No, it's hard to get all the numbers for that one. It takes a lot of work. A lot of sums need to be done to get exact numbers on all that.
I did think that if anyone could do it, it would be Matthew Donald. So I'll be keeping at you over the back end of the season for that one.
No, don't mind being kept honest, Paddy. Coates with the tap in, trying to run onto it. There was Gregson, couldn't gather it cleanly. There's Hodges going the other way. He's caught, and the umpire waving play on, keen to get things moving, and another stoppage.
Fair to say there'd probably be more tackles and disposals at the moment, I think, if we had the live stats.
Well, Tom Fisher's going about it, 8.2 tackles a game this year. That's how he'd want to play, as Coates wins it down to Winter, who does get the clearance. Darmody nearly brought that one down for the second time in this opening 3.5 minutes of the game. Scores yet to break from zero, Matty.
We're on world record pace early, though. Early days, but it's been a good start.
Billy Coates and Felix Flockhart, the ruck battle. What a contest that will be today. Here's Richards on the outside, tried to break through a couple, lost the footy in doing so. Seagar brought down another stoppage. Jeez, get your copybook out at home, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're up to 15 and counting, Pat.
It's just very tight 1v1 at the stoppages. No one really getting on the fly either. They're just all really tight.
Coates tapped it to Flockhart. Don't see that happen too often. Ruckman tapping into his opposite ruckman. Flockhart getting over the top there. There was Hodges, who just got boot to ball. Scrappy kick inside 50. Butler picked it up, but ran out of room before he could do anything meaningful with it, and a boundary throw in.
And we spoke about those Old Brighton changes, but their midfield's still the core and the same, and so that's the biggest part today for Old Brighton, is going to be the stoppage and clearance battle, and already it's just neutral.
4 minutes gone here in the opening term. Still no score. Tossed in at half forward here for St Kevin's, kicking to the left of your radio dial. Adochi intercepts the hand pass, although it goes straight to Flockhart. His kick is smothered. Back to Adochi. He throws it on the boot. It snaps towards goal. It's going to go across the face, through for a minor score. But we are underway as far as the scoring is concerned. 4.5 minutes gone here in the opening term for McCormack Property Services. St Kevin's one behind. Old Brighton yet to score.
If anyone can break the malaise, it's Vince Aducci, who is a super exciting player. They've been keen for him to pull on the green, blue and gold jumper for a while at TH King Oval. He's got the opening score of the day behind. A kick long towards us, commentary side. Hart went with the fist. It skipped over the top of him and back out of bounds in front of the St Kevin's bench. So Old Brighton get halfway down the length of TH King Oval, approaching 5 minutes gone from McCormick Property Services. Any key matchups that you've got your eye on at the moment, Pat?
Yeah, I was probably just talking about the hill one early on Hodges, and then probably the ruck battle already because of how many stoppages we've had. That's Coates and Flockhart going at it early. They're probably the key ones that we're seeing.
Pat Cortazzo for hit IQ today as Fisher wins the clearance again for Old Brighton, kicks it a little bit further down the wing. Wanted Pryor, he couldn't bring the footy. Oh, big collision. Two tonners collide. One of those was Sam Fanning in for his second game. It comes the way of Pryor, who dips it inside 50. The kick, though, was intended for Hope. He was harried out of it by Milne, and Gunson cuts it off for St Kevin's. So Liam Gunson enjoyed a strong year on North Melbourne's VFL. This is a train-on player. Wanted Darmody down the line. He was spoiled away from the footy by Richardson, grandson of KB, as St Kevin's go down the far wing, and it'll go up in the air for Mansfield to mark, and he'll go past that halfway here for the home squad.
Mansfield back in the side this week, goes short up the line. Gunson kept on running, wants to draw the man, does so. He was looking there for Darmody, who was taken in a strong tackle over the boundary line, and it will be another throw in. The first stoppage on the far side of the ground.
It was just that entry for Old Brighton, that Ferguson. He had two numbers. He could have just used the hands. They probably could have walked in for a goal there, but just took the kick in a bit rushed. But I guess when the ball's been just so hot early, it's just hard to get any clean disposal and first real crack at it.
It was probably the most amount of space any one player's had so far in this match. At the boundary throw in, Marnie trying to crash through, was dispossessed, caught in the tackle and holding the ball. So it's going to be a free kick going the way of Gus Cork. Although that's been turned over, and it's now Hodges who's got it. Gets away from Campielli, kick back towards half forward is no good. It's been turned over, and it's Richardson who's taken the mark at half back. When he goes short. Well, not short enough because it's gone out on the... Now, maybe it was too short. The mark wasn't paid because it hadn't gone 15. It's been carried over the boundary line, so it'll be a throw-in rather than out in the full. So... it'll be a neutral footy again, this time at half forward for St Kevin's.
Big role to play this year, the back end. Charlie Richardson, I suspect, the teenager, with Max Benier doing his ACL for Old Brighton. Here's Seagar, just stormed out of the stoppage. He got the handball received from Branson and then kicked it down the far wing. Jamie Hope on a long lead. He's 60 metres out at left half forward, just puts the kick up in the air. Seaton paws at it. Pryor's after it at ground level. Matheson was clean, fed it backwards towards Hart. He's got two tonners to deal with. He'll be happy with the stoppage. So deep inside 50 here, the Tunners, their first compelling movement forward all day. St Kevin's one behind, Brighton yet to score. 7.5 minutes gone for McCormick Property Services. Ball back in the air. Patted down to the feet of the ruckman. And you'd think the ball will get tied up beneath them, although it does go out towards the pocket. Tackled off the footy was Matheson, and he's caught holding the ball. So an early shot at goal here for the Tunners. It looks to be Karayanis. He'll get the free kick from the left forward pocket, tight angle. It will favour the right footer. Blustery conditions at that end of the ground, the wetlands end to which the wind is blowing here today at the TH King Oval. This will be the first goal of the game if Karayanis can put it through, Pat.
Yeah, and last time we were here was St Kevin's and Old Halbury, and that was the end that the goals were coming from. That's where the breeze is going. So you can see O'Brien wanted to take that end early, try to get a good start in this game, but the umpires, they must have been getting over the stoppages and decided to give a few holding the balls. That was two in a row there from stoppage, and now Karayanis gets a chance to put in the first goal of the game.
Ninth game of the season, has a chance for his sixth goal of 2025. Karayanis, he's left it skinny. So one behind, Brighton opens its account. Not the way it would prefer though. They're one behind. St Kevin's one behind, approaching 9 minutes gone the first term, thanks to McCormick Property Services here at the TH King Oval. Matthew Donald.
So Tucker will eventually take the kick in. The ball had to be retrieved from the bushes. Got some assistance from the crowd. Good to see this crowd moving, unlike the snake pit a couple of weeks ago.
That was genuinely hilarious. Old mate sat behind the goals who did not get up from his backside all day.
Refused to move, no matter how close the footy was to him. Kick by Tucker onto the chest there of Marnie at half back. 1-1 apiece here for McCormick Property Services in this opening term. We've just ticked over 9 minutes. Marnie goes up the line. That's a strong mark by Gunson going back with the flight. He's been involved a little bit early in defence for the Scobbers. He changes his mind a couple of times and goes short. Still Dimitru. Wants to come inboard, and that works. And now going off on a gallivanting run there was Matheson, who drives along inside attacking 50. It's come over the back. Chance here for Mansfield if he can gather it. He's taken it, a strong tackle. Well done by Gus Cork, making his presence felt early on his debut. And he's locked it up inside the forward pocket here for St Kevin's. Lockhart grabs it out of the ruck and just throws it on the boot, goes out towards halfback. Hart comes over the top, couldn't take the mark. It's at ground level now, the hand pass forward. Tucker's going to run onto it now. Taken and a good tackle there by Pryor. Just missed the mud patch. He'll be disappointed with that one, Ben Pryor. An opportunity to really lock up his man there, but instead it's on the nice, clean, soft grass in the centre of the ground.
Yeah, it feels like a bit of a rugby game at the moment. Just territory's key. Everyone just with the long kicks, but seeing St Kevin's, just a methodical build-up there, getting those uncontested marks early. That was probably the thing for Old Brighton they're just going to be mindful of.
Gregson handballs it into the mud. Old Brighton push it towards centre half forward where Hill lays a tackle. Gregson's tackled off his kick. Seager hacks it inside 50. Hope front spot. Milne reached over the top. Hope first to it on the ground. Can handball it pretty much into the goal square for Olivier. Goes back to Hope. He snaps and he's missed to the right-hand side. Geez, it was hard work for the Tunners.
Oh, that footy's not coming back, gents.
Well, that's gone through into the fenced area.
Yep.
So Old Brighton 2 behind, St Kevin's just the 1 behind. Anthony Plugger-Lynch in front of us here on the bench pointing to the change rooms for another Sherrin, because that one is not coming back. It does give the opportunity though for a troop change. Might be an opportune time to check in on our boundary rider for ARA Property Services, Raj Johnston. Conditions changing at all down there, Raj?
Yeah, that breeze is picking up, Paddy. I'm having to apply more force to keep my notepad firmly planted down, so that's a sure sign the wind's picking up. But also keeping a close eye on mud watch as well. We're only 10 minutes in, but a couple of Old Brighton players have come off with mud everywhere, so we'll keep an eye on that throughout the afternoon.
The Tucker goes short to Hart in the back pocket. Oh, hang on. No, what's going on here? Not sure what the umpire was doing. His wave play on very quickly, though, so Hart's just going to dump a long kick down the line. Coming in for the side there was Cameron, got hands to it, couldn't complete the mark. Umpire waves play on. It's all against the boundary line now. There was Cameron again. Seager intercepted the hand pass. Gregson trying to find a way through unsuccessfully. And there'll be a stoppage on the wing here. Centre wing, broadcast side. But a tight opening term here. Winter tackled over the boundary line off the hit out there from Coates. 12 minutes gone, and it's 2 behinds to 1 on the McCormack Property Services scoreboard.
It's got a bit of a finals vibe to it early. Just a lot of high stoppages, very tight, really 1v1 at the moment.
Both teams just feeling each other out here in this opening stanza. Now here's Marnie, who got it from Coates, sends it towards half forward, playing in front. That's a strong mark that's been taken, and then Dochi gives it, gets it back. Then the hand pass back to Marnie, who kept running, and on the left boot, kicks it into the forward pocket, slews off the side of the boot. And there's Cork again, who started well.
He has Gus Cork. I think Jack Marnie might be carrying the left only for balance, if that drop punt was anything to go by, as Brighton switch it to Campearly in the left back pocket, and that's where the movement drives up. So he's going to come back the other way to Fergus Murray at fullback. Game number 2 for him. Number 19 over his senior VAFA career. The kick long down the line on the TH King Pavilion side is a poor one and cut down with ease by Cal Jones. And he will switch it. You're right, Pat, it's felt a bit finals-like. It's similar to the semi-final last year where it was tight and contested all day until Sam Flockhart broke apart things. Here's Hart. He kicks it inside 50. It was a low worm burner of a kick. Ferguson, classy, through the pack, threw it on the boot, kicks it towards Darmody. He got 2 hands to it again, but couldn't bring it down, Jack. Just needs some grippo. Ducci, rather, at ground level, is brought down by a pair of Tunners directly in front of goal, 25 metres out. We'll have a stoppage.
And that's just the inside 50 efficiency, something St Kevin's have been a bit up and down with all year. But even there with the speed they got, Marnie just needing to go look early and knowing they had one out the back.
Critchley into the ruck for St Kevin's. Old Brighton with the football. Darmody is after it in the boundary line. It'll escape him and roll over the white line.
There's a bit of just a bit of overuse early at the moment, and then even too, it's hard because I feel like that with St Kevin's, they want to go through the corridor or at least try to hit the 45s. With that mud, they're just kind of avoiding it at the moment.
They're going via the cave when attacking, but St Kevin's have certainly had field position for the vast majority of this opening term.
That's a shallow throw-in.
That is a shallow throw-in, and that's going to be called again. You're spot on there, Paddy. It went high enough, they just didn't go far enough, being held up in the breeze.
It's these poor boundary umpires who are on the commentary side of the ground who are going to be very, very busy today. So glad that there's 4 of them.
They've been working overtime already. This one's a bit better. It'll reach the 2 rucks. Darmody was there at the fall of it. But it's come out now to Gregson, who just gets it on the boot. Anywhere will do. Comes out towards the back flank. And there was Jones trying to trap it. Comes to Gunson. Did he keep that in play? No. The umpire signal that went out of play before Gunson cleared the ball into the forward line. So it's going to be another boundary throw-in.
These umpires have had more, boundary umpires have more touches than the players at the moment.
It certainly felt that way, Pat, as we go briefly around the grounds for Garvey and company. real estate. Old Scotch with the first goal against Collegians at the Harry Trott Oval. University Blues with the first 2 against Dealar at Waverley Oval in East Malvern. Old Zabs and St Bernards. We're yet to see a goal kicked in that one at Toorak Park, Matthew.
We'll continue to keep you posted. There's some fascinating contests this round. Winter, his kick was smothered. It's come out there by Edgar, who kicks it out towards the wing. Running onto it now, slipping over there was Travers. And then hand pass to Seeger, but he was tackled over the boundary line, and it will be a throw-in.
Luke Travers with the footy there. I like this stat. Gave off 6 goal assists last week without kicking, over his 2 games this year, without kicking a goal himself.
Yeah, 3 goal assists is not a bad average.
Ben Pryor's just come off limping there for Old Brighton.
Raj will be all over that for Author Sport Victoria.
Yeah, the last thing that they need, Old Brighton, is another leading goal scorer to be unavailable for them. Ferguson gets the hand pass back. High kick up towards the wing. It's going to hold in the breeze. And then there's a block, and it's going to go a free kick to St Kevin's. Callum Jones to take it.
Cal Jones with a roll down back last week. 90 disposals, 6 marks, 9 intercept possessions. Playing a bit more second ruck and up forward today in the absence of Paddy Kerr, though he is a long way back here, and he goes further back to Hart, inside defensive 50, balances the kick carefully for Delamitru. True centre half back for St Kevin's, and he wants to move it scoreboard side, and they will go via hand. Ends up with Seaton, another big V nominee. He turns away from Seagar, he's caught, he just got the handball away in the nick of time, although Brighton have runners raging inside 50. Hope will turn on the right boot and snap from 40 metres, and you could put it in the book. Jamie Hope. He had a sighter from a little bit closer in. Second time of asking. That's goal number 19 on the season for Jamie. Another big V nominee. Just the 6 touches and 1 goal last week. He's opened his account nice and early today. Old Brighton with the first goal of the game, coming at the 16.5-minute mark of the first term for McCormick Property Services. They're 8, St Kevin's just 1.
Yeah, it was pretty good defence by Old Brighton there. It looks like Angus Edgar there, who's been playing on the wing, just got there as a spare, and it just forced St Kevin's. They didn't really want to go long down the line, and played around with it a little bit too much, and then good pressure by Old Brighton. Good way to start with the first goal of the game, and he's been busy early, Hope.
So reluctantly, the players are going to have to reconvene in the mud patch. Maybe that's why it took them so long to kick a goal. They don't want to go anywhere near the centre of the ground today. The umpire is thrown at the rucks, are not jumping. They're just contesting it as if it's around the ground stoppage. High kick there from Olivier, who goes up towards centre half forward. Now roving it there is Travers at the ground level. He couldn't get there. Edgar picks it up and snaps towards goal, but he's wide. It's out of bounds on the full, so no score. St Kevin's will get it back in the back pocket.
Fluid there from Gussie Edgar. He has started well, you're right, Pat. Just looked quite present around the contest for a
just
winger.
even having a presence there to look like you're the spare, and then just feeling like you just can't then kick that ball long down the line, and you just get caught in 2 minds, and that's what happened on that last play. But it'll be just interesting now if they're willing to take the contest. They haven't been a great contest marking team the last month, St Kevin's.
Mill now towards the back flank, no mark taken. Interesting, the 2 number 40s out there both have a first name Angus. Not a very common name, Angus, but to have 2 of them with the same number.
We've got 2 Patricks up here, so I suppose it's a theme.
Dave Doubles, where's my Matthew? Here's Marnie, who's taken a tackle. He's going to be penalised here for holding the ball. Gregson to take the free kick.
Geez, they've been hot on that, the umpires, haven't they?
Yep,
holding the balls in the stoppage.
They're fed up with the congestion already. They don't want the world record broken. Gregson kicks it inside 50. Seeger was the target. Couldn't take the mark. Matheson roved. He looked to give it out to Ferguson, who's in trouble. Try to take on the tackle. The umpire gives him some slack, though, and says, let's ball it up instead.
I feel a little bit like that with St Kevin's. It's almost because of the conditions and feeling like it is going to that end that they're just trying to probably just keep the deficit down. They've actually done a pretty good job to this point, as long as they don't obviously concede here at this 450 stoppage.
There's a little pause in this one because Angus Hart is lying just about in his chest a few moments ago. He's now up to his haunches, but there's some concern from the players around the contest for Angus Hart.
Ooh.
So play's just going to stop for a moment. Oh, this looks not great for Angus Hart. He's holding a leg. I'm just hoping that's not a knee for Angus Hart. He's still on the ground. St Kevin's teammates, Billy Coates, is there trying to comfort him. Now the trainer's with him. This is right in the left forward pocket for the Tunners. And play has stopped. Both clubs just circling up and having a conversation here at the 19-minute mark of the first quarter. This is a pretty sad scene here for Angus Hart, who's been a revelation, it must be said, down back this year for the Scobbers. Tick under 11.5 disposals, 6.5 marks and 6 intercepts a game in his new role down back. And he looks, distraught, Angus Hart. This is not good.
I just heard what I didn't want to hear there.
We're getting a stretcher out by the looks of things. So play will stop here at TH King Oval. There's a physio in front of us holding a stretcher and just confirming, I think it was whether they had a moon boot or not, Pat, coming through the effects mic.
Yeah, I just heard something around leg and snap, so I'm hoping
that's terrible.
Hopefully he's not accurate in his description there, the trainer.
So it does look, Hart is...
So they're calling, they might be calling the ambulance as well.
Yeah, so he's on his backside in the left forward pocket. He looks in a significant amount of pain. The trainer's with him, just stabilising. Might be the left leg, I think. We're a long way away from it here in the TH King Pavilion. He's trying to get to his feet, actually, Angus Hart, and he's now up. And it's the left foot that is the problem, and he's just being helped across the ground. Cannot put any weight on the left foot at all.
I'd be getting him on the stretcher, to be honest. It's very courageous effort, though, to be getting up with your leg injury like that.
Yeah, no.
Trying to limp across the ground.
So he's got, the entire St Kevin's team. This is a heartwarming scene, I suppose. The senior players all coming over and getting around Angus Hart as he's helped off the TH King Oval. He's got a tendon either side of him as he hops off the ground, so the stretcher doesn't look like it will be required, but that would certainly, you'd think, be the day done for Angus Hart. We'll check in with Raj Johnston for Autosport Victoria to confirm that a little bit later on, but it would be, you'd think, a formality for St Kevin's. So Angus Hart looks to be out of the game. Let's go down now to Raj Johnston with the report. Raj, what do you got for us?
Yeah, not good news for the Scobs, Paddy, but better news for Old Brighton. Ben Pryor's back on the ground after coming off with a bit of soreness earlier.
Injury update for Autosport Victoria. Thank you, Raj. We'll check back in with you in a few minutes' time, I'm sure. But let's think about what St Kevin's can now do. So Angus Hart looks to be done for the day. He's the tallest defender. They do have some levers to pull with Cal Jones, as we mentioned, Pat. What do you think Plugger Lynch would be doing?
Yeah, well, it's hard because he's talked so much about their team defence, and he's been a big part last month. 3 intercept marks on average per game, along with the intercept possession. So, yeah, it's interesting. It doesn't look like that they're overly tall, Old Brighton as well. So it might not be something that they need to be looking at, having that kind of key position go back. It could just be having the wing kind of go back and play a bit more defensively and give them a bit more support than needing to, say, do a positional change, because they don't really look like they're that tall at all, Brighton, in their forward 50.
We'll say about Angus Hart, right from the start, he wanted to walk it off. You can see him trying to get up very early, and then even though the stretches come out, he's just refused to accept it. He's just wanted to make his way off the ground. And to his credit, he has done that. He's still clearly in an awful lot of pain.
He's putting a bit of weight on it now, isn't he?
It's looking a little better now than compared to what it was initially. He's putting, as you said, Pat, some form of weight on that left leg now, but clearly still in a lot of concern.
Yeah, Tom Jock and Paddy Kerr helping him off the ground as play resumes in the forward pocket, and we'll have a repeat stoppage. Ooh. And a little bit of afters too, 25 metres out from the Old Brighton goal. It's the Tunners 8, St Kevin's 1, 23 minutes gone from McCormick Property Services.
So Coates grabbed it out of the ruck and then was caught in the tackle. Well, who caught who there? I thought Coates had the footy, then Flockhart had the footy, and then Coates had Flockhart. And at the end of it all, that'll be another stoppage here. Still inside attacking 50 for Old Brighton, who have the only goal of the game to this point. Dillamitru was there. He was being held on to. The umpire said play on. Lots of players around this ball. It slowly moved its way into a central location now. 1-2 plays, one behind. 23.5 minutes gone, although given the injury to Angus Hart, this is going to be an awfully long quarter. And there's been a lot of stoppages as well. Seeger applying the tackle there on Hodges. Joining in to help out there was Ben Branson as well. A lot of debutants for Old Brighton today. Coates again. Seeger was there. And Carianis hacked it off the ground. And it's gone out of bounds on the full nose score. So St Kevin's will bring the ball back into play.
And that's the thing with William Coates, is their physicality provides us that ruck. You're just making it hard for Flockhart to look for, say, particularly because it's so congested at stoppage, just that hit to the outside to the dangerous players. Just not being able to get any of that at the moment, Old Brighton.
So Tucker, often the centre half back this year for St Kevin's. It was a low, flat kick down the broadcast side. It comes off the arms of Felix Flockhart and out of play. So Angus Hart, we suspect done for the day. The left lower leg injury was carried off the ground a few moments ago. Old Brighton by 7 points here at the TH King Oval. 7 points or fewer has been the story over the last 6 matches against St Kevin's. So another close one as Coates and Flockhart do battle. Felix Flockhart fell over. It just bounced in between the rucks. And Sam Cameron lays a big tackle. It'll be thrown up just a little bit outside the outermost point of the centre square, right half forward for the Tunners.
You've got Luke Winter on the bench too, be keen to get back on the ground as well. He's been off for a while with this injury from heart.
Flockhart flicks it forward. Seagar's with it, wants the boundary, steps out of play, and the umpire will call for it to be thrown in front of the Brighton bench. So neutral territory. Tunners 8, St Kevin's 1 behind, 25 minutes gone from McCormick Property Services, Matthew Donald.
It's been a cagey opening term. Two very competitive teams, a top 4 encounter here at the TH King Oval. Marnie read it well, looked to get the hand pass out to Ferguson. Cameron was in there, he tried to barge away through. Eventually did get the ball, although it has been turned over. And then Pyer back on the ground, taken in a strong tackle by Dillamitru. And there's another scobber down here. Slowly getting to his feet is Cameron, and he's going to hobble towards the bench. He's going to do it a lot quicker than what Hart did, though. Flockhart, how about that, to Gregson. Was caught by Coates, but got the hand pass inside 50. Hill was there, hands it out to Pry, who's back on the ground, tucked in the pocket, snaps towards goal. Although reading it well there was Mill in the last line, the goalkeeper. He goes out to Gunston, and St Kevin's are away.
So Gunston, right back pocket. The movement dries up for Liam, though, very quickly indeed. So he'll just drive it now down the Garners Creek wing. It goes just about as high as it did long. And that's not saying anything about the length. That was a rainmaker. Old Brighton pick up the footy, and they'll feed it backwards. Sam Fanning was involved all the way through, and they're just mucking around a little bit here with the Tunners. They've pushed it back all the way to left half back. Via hand, nothing clean, and St Kevin's pressure means we'll get a throw in 60 metres out from their goal pattern.
Yeah, and they did well there in the end. St Kevin's, Old Brighton almost gave them a lot of territory, but even on that transition, the ball that you can see St Kevin's wanted to go to the outside, but Old Brighton just had the outlets covered, and they just couldn't go quick at all on that last transition.
So it's lived on the far side of the ground as Fanning wins the clearance and kicks it down the wing, where it's taken eventually by Zach Travers. 2 Travers out there, Luke and Zach. And it'll end up in the hands of Luke as he kicks it inside 50. Right forward pocket is where he aims. It's going to be tracked there by Dexter Prime, who is thrown unceremoniously to the deck. Big tackle laid by the Tunners forwards. And they'll get a stoppage 15 metres out from goal. Quickly, let's go down to Raj Johnston on the boundary.
Yeah, Paddy, St Kevin's Sam Cameron has come off the ground in a bit of pain, pointing to the top of his left leg to the trainer, so I'll keep an eye on that.
Coates doing the roving there, out to Winter, who's back on the ground. Comes out towards Critchley, who flew high to the football, couldn't take the mark. Marnie back to Ferguson, goes up the line with the kick. Oh, great mark taken there by Barnett. Stuck out the one hand and reeled it in. And he goes further afield looking for Gunson, although Richardson got across, cut it out and knocked it out of play. That effort from Barnett, a mark of the day contender, thanks to Michael Page.
The left arm little reeling.
Yeah, very nicely done.
It's just the next possession off that, though. They just couldn't get anything to go at speed, and that's probably the hard part. When you look at that middle and how muddy it is, just trying to actually change angles and use the width of the ground is just almost impossible at the moment.
Coates and Flockhart renewing hostilities there in the ruck. Coates over to Marnie, who has started well. Sends a high kick towards half forward. And coming out to meet a strong mark on the chest by Adochi. He's got it 45 metres out from goal. Only a few metres in from the boundary line, so this will be a tough shot. He's got no doubt in his mind he wants to go and have a crack at it here.
Okay, Benny, go for Hodgie, Benny.
Just the territory from stoppage. That both teams have just kind of got the emphasis. We talked about it pre-game, 17 degrees, but it feels like a wet weather game with the conditions, and that's kind of how it's played from these stoppages. Just quick kicks out and getting territory and men in front.
So Dochi lines it up. It's not going to quite have the distance. It's going to land on the line, and it was Jones who was there, but he was the lone scobber. It's been turned over, and then kick up the line there from Edgar is effective. Mark taken by Fisher just inside the line.
So Fisher between wing and half back for the Tunners. 8 plays 1. Old Brighton in the lead by 7 points as we approach the 29-minute mark of the first term for McCormick Property Services. It's a long kick down the line, and it's well taken by Luke Travers. And there's another scobber down. Milne holding his left knee. More on that in a second as the kick goes inside 50. Dexter Prime tracks it, and big tackle laid by Matheson. Didn't stop the handball from squeezing out. It'll be thrown up 45 metres out from goal. Milne now being attended to by a trainer. He's to his feet and very properly indeed, trying to make his way off the ground.
Well, they're not going to have a back line by half-time, St Kevin's, the way things are going.
So Hart, we assume, done for the day. Cameron saw, and now Milne exceptionally proppy as Winter is thrown to the deck there by Gregson. And it'll be thrown up again, 48 metres out from the Old Brighton goal. They lead it by 7 points.
So umpire toss it up here at half forward. Flockhart crashed into Coates. Fisher getting the hand pass out there, looking for Pryor, couldn't gather it effectively. And then trying to charge through was Branson. There'll be another stoppage. The Mills still limping heavily here on the boundary line. Raj Johnston will be all over that. There's Olivier and Coates.
With a bit of work at quarter time on Raj Johnston. It's 3 injuries already for St Kevin's.
He's going to be earning his paycheck today. Olivier had a couple of goes at it in the ruck, and there's been a free kick for a high. It's going to go the way of Old Brighton. Kick to be taken here at half forward. Branson wants to give the hand pass off to Richardson, who from a standing start sets sail from 55, and that may have gone out on the full. And that's what the boundary umpire has signalled, so St Kevin's will get it in the back pocket.
Yeah, not a great entry there. Felix Flockhart actually got into a really good spot in that hot spot. They just didn't see him, but even just to actually put it into that spot, just to make really the St Kevin's defenders have to work, but just not a great entry.
We know that Charlie Richardson has a shoe on him. 2-step up from 55 metres. He got it all the way. Just the accuracy, the problem is Flockhart plucks it in the pack. Maybe. No, the umpire called play on. And Critchley took it out of his hands. Felix Flockhart's arms went straight in the head and gave a little bit of afters to Critchley, who ran past him with a big smile on his face. So maybe he knew he got away with one. Here's Flockhart getting his revenge. Took it out of the rack, kicked it to the top of the square. The fist came from Tucker. Richards tried to track it. It came through to Seagar, who broke a couple of tackles, spread it towards Campili on the bounce. By hand, fit Campili on the left. Got it! And Brighton has a couple. 2-2-14, St Kevin's one behind, 31 and a half elapsed in this first term for McCormick Property Services, working across the commercial, education, government, industrial and residential sectors. Visit mccormick.com.au. Finn Campili, a bit of class on the outside there, Pat.
Yeah, but it was Felix Flockhart there. He didn't get rewarded with the mark from the man in front, and went to another stoppage, gave the umpire leather poisoning, and then just there from that he was able to just pluck it out of the ruck, use his body well. He's had a really tough challenge on Will Coates in the first quarter, but that's where he can be damaging. He gets his hands on it. Good kick actually to the hot spot, and just, yeah, really good finish by Campili on the left peg.
So on the McCormick Property Services scoreboard, it's a 13-point lead to Old Brighton. St Kevin's still to find a goal here in this opening term. Winter receives the hand pass from Marnie and kicks it high towards half forward. No one really contested the ball in the air. Mansfield's taken, and a good tackle there by Edgar.
He's shown a bit today, Gussie Edgar, sorry, Pat.
Yeah, that's the thing with it. There's so many stoppages, it just becomes really 1v1. There's just no movement in the game, so it's just tackle for tackle on every contest.
Comes out now to Seaton, who just throws it on the boot inside. Attacking 50. Mansfield got through hands. Here's Critchley now. Gets the hand pass, looking for Hodges. Went behind him. Fisher was in there. And they should be able to work this out now. Brighton kick into the middle of the ground. Oh, Coates got a shocking bounce. And with the turning circle of the Queen Elizabeth, he was never getting back to that footy. And there'll be a free kick for holding the ball here. St Kevin's will send it back inside 50 anyway. Luke Winter applying a strong tackle there on Fraser Gregson, and will get the footy. He's still got 2 kicks from goal. He wants to get the hand pass.
He's looking on the bench to direction.
Oh, that's a floating mung inside 50, but it works. Oh, it's the ugliest pinpoint pass you've ever seen. But anything will do. It'll do the trick for St Kevin's. And they've got a good opportunity here to goal via the set shot. Can't be too long left in this opening term. 33 and a half minutes gone already. There have been a fair few stoppages and pauses for injury in this opening term.
Yeah, this could be a 40-minute quarter, but Luke Winter, they're averaging 14 handballs in his last month, and I don't think he's actually handballed once so far in this first quarter when you think he would, and just a mongrel kick inside 50, but it works.
Sam Critchley to take the kick. He booted 3 goals last week. Can he find the target here? Yes, he can! And the Scobbers are on the board. Sam Critchley with goal number 16 of the season, and the hosts sure needed that. They've got their first. 1-1-7 place, 2-2-14. 34 minutes gone here in the opening term. That's on the McCormick Property Services scoreboard.
I was going to say, Pat, I was wondering why Lukey Winter averages just a tick over 8 kicks a game when he's had 24 disposals. And I think we just saw the reason for it. It's an interesting looking kicking action, but we know he does his work on the bottom of packs typically.
Yeah, there was just sometimes you just need a bit of luck, and you got it there. But Critchley, he's going to be an important player for St Kevin's today. He's kicked 7 goals in his last month, and when we look at actually Old Brighton, they have conceded some bags to some key players within the forward lines of the opposition.
Fisher again with the clearance. This one was interrupted by a hand on its way through. Gave Seaton the opportunity to pick up the footy and spread it real wide. Garners Creek side to Mansfield, who got away from Richardson, was looking for Hodges. The kick hung. and it's chopped down Butler. Former Footscray player, of course, which Matty Donald will tell you about, I'm sure, over the course of this afternoon. Old Brighton switching fields. Pryor in a one-on-one, Delamitri well positioned behind him. Held the back space well, did George Delamitri. Marks at centre-half back for St Kevin's and spreads it. Gunson on the bounce into the lap, and on the left drives it inside. Barnett back with the flight, takes the mark. So this is methodical for St Kevin's. 7 plays 14, 35 minutes gone.
They're just starting to get a bit of a feel for it now, St Kevin's. Barnett goes with a kick inside 50, coming over the top. Richardson couldn't take the mark. Gregson was in there. He's on hands and knees, tries to get the hand pass out, and then taking a tackle was Montanaro. What's the umpire going to say? He says ball it up. Want to get a stoppage about 35 metres out here from St Kevin's goal. Central location inside their attacking 50. They trailed by 7 points here. Latter stages of this opening term. Flockhart tapped it down. Ferguson was in there. He fell. Jones is still in the forward line applying the tackle. We'll get another stoppage here. Flockhart grabs it out of the ruck almost contemptuously and then drives it up towards the wing. Coates playing behind the footy. He couldn't get an effective disposal there. Trying to crash through was Hodges. Spins out of trouble, gets the hand pass back to Tucker. He's caught. He's dropped the footy. He's gone.
Oh, he's taking the advantage there.
They called it too.
You'd think if they played advantage, then it should be holding the ball as well, but the umpire says no, we'll ball it up here in the centre of the ground.
That's Old Brighton wanted to play with a lot of speed there, and they just didn't think that one through.
So Fisher just rides Coates, not Coates, pardon me. That's Big Lukey Winter into the ground, and another throw up. So neutral territory inside the centre square. 36.5 minutes gone from McCormick Property Services. The length of the quarter on account of Angus Hart's left lower leg injury as Old Brighton move it towards half forward. Harry Hill on the outside, dodges to the inside. The handball for Karianis. Marnie's with him now. Great tackle, Jack Marnie. Tied him up inside 50. It'll be thrown in the air pack.
Yeah, and that's we were talking about St Kevin's. Their tackle diff, they've been 9th in the last month, but so far this quarter, both teams have just been strong in their tackles.
For Author Sport Victoria, both Sam Cameron and Milne now on the bench for St Kevin's as the kick goes towards full forward for Old Brighton. It's a scrappy old thing 15 metres out. It'll be thrown in the air. Big pack of players around the footy. Brighton by 7 points. Matthew Donald.
Well, I don't know about the record for the most stoppages in a quarter, but the longest quarter, we are giving a run for its money here. 37 minutes already and counting.
I hope these light poles work.
Was it the Buddy quarter that went 50 minutes when everyone jumped on the ground?
I reckon that went for over an hour, that one. And there've been a couple where lightning delays actually count as part of the quarter as well.
Let's hope we don't get one of those.
No,
Blue skies at the moment.
I think we're safe with that one today. Olivier with the tap back straight to Hodges, who was in a central location, who gets it out of the defensive 50. Flockhart with a big fly over the top. And has he landed awkwardly there? No, maybe a little bit. He's back on his feet now.
Landed on the ball, I think.
Well, it's definitely not what you want to do. He wins the tap here, though, to Hill, who gathers it, draws the man, gets the hand pass to Edgar, who just stays inside the field of play. Spit on the ball towards the forward line, and there's a bit going on in the aftermath as well. A couple of players on the ground. I'll call the footy, you call the fight there, Paddy Grindlay. It comes out to Matheson, and then the kick was smothered there, trying to get boots of ball was Phillips, and there is the siren for quarter time.
There's Fisher and Winter on ground level there, yes. Mallet. There's a matchup.
It's dispersed now, though, on the two teams making their way to the huddle. And that siren does bring about the end to one of the longest quarters of the season, 2025. Over 38 minutes in length. And not a lot of goals to show for it, though. 2-2-14 Old Brighton. St Kevin's 1-1-7.
So Old Brighton by 7 points at quarter time. Goals through Hope and Finn Campeely for the Tunners. One through Sam Critchley at the 34-minute mark for St Kevin's. More after this.
The Big V is back. The VAFA's best men and women will pull on the mighty Big V in its centenary year this Saturday at Sports Cover Arena, Elstonwick Park, thanks to City Power. Our women face the Western Australians from 1 p.m, with the men to follow from 3:30. Don't let the Big V down. Be there at Sports Cover Arena or watch all the action live and free at vafa.com.au.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
Tickets are now on sale for the VAFA's 2025 Big V Gala Dinner presented by City Power. It's a landmark event, the largest function the VAFA has ever staged, and it's celebrating 100 years of Big V representative football. This historic evening will serve as the official opening to the Rep Football Weekend, offering a unique opportunity to honour the legacy of the Big V and its enduring significance within the VAFA community. The Big V Gala Dinner will bring together past players, coaches, club representatives and supporters to reflect on a century of tradition, achievement and pride. The evening promises to be one of the most significant in the VAFA's history. You don't want to miss it. It's at Centrepiece at Melbourne Park, Thursday the 10th of July 2025. Tickets now on sale at vafa.com.au.
Listen in to the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day this Saturday afternoon on SEN's new no-delay streaming product, SEN Stadium. That's VAFA Footy, live with no delay, Saturday from 1:45pm. Listen via the app.
Quarter time at the TH King Oval. It's Old Brighton 2-2-14. St Kevin's 1-1-7 after a 38.5-minute first term. And the big story from this ground today are injuries to St Kevin's players. Unfortunately, Angus Hart with a lower left leg injury out of the game, we assume. Sam Cameron and Sam Milne also impeded by some early injuries. Now let's go inside the Old Brighton huddle, all thanks to Simpson Construction. The next voice you'll hear is Old Brighton coach Marcel Bruin.
It was really good. When they had multiple stoppages, we were structurally set up. We didn't give them easy outs. What we want to do is continue to compete. We're going to change that. We're going to jam up. Obviously, Daph's spoken to the half forwards in and around jamming up the stoppage a little bit, so that's going to give us a bit of help kicking into the breeze. But there's still holes. When we get the ball back, we can still look for those inside 45s. When we're front side of centre, kick to grass. We spoke about it. Sometimes we can pinpoint and lower our eyes when we've got time. When there's not time and we can't execute as efficiently as we'd like to, that's a kick to grass. We've got a lot of dangerous small forwards in there at the moment. When the ball hits the deck, they're getting to work. If they don't get the ball, I love the forward pressure that you're putting on there. So that's the next part. The ball needs to live inside our forward 50 if we get it in. So that's a hunt, boys. Get on the hunt. All right? We've changed up that forward.
Great to hear the insights there of Soupy Bruin. It's a pretty strong and straightforward message, I would have thought. Pat Cortazzo wants to get the ball inside 50, wants to get it on the ground and let the smalls go to work.
Yeah, and I kind of like that, particularly when you're going into the breeze as well, just squeezing everyone up, making it a bit more tight around stoppage, but knowing if you do get that quick, which Felix Flockhart did do towards the back end of the quarter, it's just that kick to grass and allows those small forwards, which they do have, to run onto it and create a bit of pressure in their front half. But yeah, it'll be very interesting because it feels like if the game opens up a little bit, St Kevin's will definitely probably have more advantages in that sense, but for the moment, pretty good first quarter by Old Brighton.
We'll catch up with Marcel Bruin in a few moments' time with Raj Johnston, all thanks to Simpson Construction, a multidisciplinary construction company that delivers civil, mechanical and electrical projects for local government agencies, government departments, water authorities and private companies. You can visit simcon.com.au, that's simcon.com.au. Great long-term sponsors of St Kevin's and now run by champion past player Tom Simpson. Raj Johnston is on the scene at ground level as the Old Brighton huddle breaks, and he'll have the coach of Marcel Bruin, the Tunners, beside him.
Thanks for your time, Marcel. It was a stoppage-heavy first quarter. What did you make of it?
Yeah, very stoppage-heavy. I mean, we're going to change it up a little bit with that slight breeze towards the other side of the end. Just try and bring a number up to give us a little bit of support around that contest. They got out a couple of times on that outside layer, so we've got to be protecting a little bit of that. But I thought the boys started really, really well. The defensive pressure was outstanding. So
there were one or two things you could improve on in this quarter to get further ahead?
Just that ball inside forward 50, giving our guys an opportunity more than anything. Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks to Marcel and Raj for Simpson Construction. And gentlemen, I just watched St Kevin's walk off the ground, the interchange players. Sam Milne, very proppy indeed. Looked over at Tom Jock and shook his head. So that might be indicative about how his day is going. He has taken a seat on the bench we'll be letting you know whether Sam Milne retakes his position on the ground. I'm just looking for Sam Cameron. He is in the centre of the TH King Oval, so he looks good to continue, Pat.
Yeah, and that's what's going to be important now. We talked a lot about Old Brighton's 6 changes, but it feels like St Kevin's are having them all in the game at the moment. So it'll be very interesting. I've been fascinated by the fact that with how that mud has been in that middle of the ground, they're still looking to persist with balling it up in that middle. So this will be a really interesting quarter for Old Brighton, particularly if there is that breeze going to the, what are we calling it, the water park end, and just how Old Brighton manage it with this extra coming up to the stoppage.
For 40 Winks, the second term, here's Matthew Donald.
So it is the Tunners, the ladder leaders, with a 7-point lead at the first change. Interesting forward line set up for the Tunners, who'll be kicking to the left of your radio dial. 5 of them starting on the edge of the centre square. Ball tossed up. What about the roving there by Winter, who kicks it high, gets it out of the mud patch, at least up towards half forward. No mark taken.
And that's a bit of that squeezing the ground, which they spoke about too, wanting to just really have one isolated forward, which at the moment is Hope there. So for him in that front half.
I've heard of Pagan's Paddock. That's Hope's half acre.
I was going to say it's the Great White Hope down there for the Tunners.
Hope Street.
Oh, it's a hat trick. we all go on in.
Take us off air, someone.
Well done, gents. Meanwhile, here it's at half forward for St Kevin's, looking to kick consecutive goals here. They kicked the last goal the first term. Hill's there. He's kicked it into the mud patch. And that ball is going to stop.
Geez.
That footy has stopped, and they've all overrun the footy. They're going to want to avoid that one like the plague today. It's come out now to Edgar, who throws it on the boot towards the Great White Hope. He keeps his feet. It's bouncing in the goal square. He's got it now. He snaps over the shoulder towards goal. It's not going to quite have the distance, and it's knocked through for a minor score in the end. St Kevin's defence got back and navigated that one well. 2-3-15 Old Brighton. St Kevin's 1-1-7. A minute gone here in the second quarter for 40 Winks.
Geez, I reckon Jamie Hope might think it's Christmas. Marcel Bruin went over to him at quarter time and said, Jamie, we're going to give you 50 metres of space inside 50. What do you think about that? I reckon he went, yes, please.
Give me 60.
Sam Cameron in the centre of the TH King Oval is borderline unrecognisable. He is doused all the way down his right side with mud. He turns sideways and he just about disappears. Here's Sam Tucker from the last line. Kicks it as far as he can down the Gardeners Creek wing, and there is the muddied man, Sam Cameron, who fed it off to Barnett, and now they'll move it through Mansfield. St Kevin's quick as a flash inside 50 on the bouncer. Ducci couldn't pick it up in his bootlaces. Goes again at ground level, maybe got some treatment and went out of play. It'll be thrown in 35 metres out from the St Kevin's goal. St Kevin's 7, Old Brighton 15. That's 1.5 minutes gone for 40 Winks in the second. Sorry, Pat.
And that's where they've looked dangerous, is just being able to go quick off those uncontested marks, and how quickly they just went from their D50 into their forward 50 and now getting a forward 50 stoppage.
Held back into play here. Coates and Flockhart been busy today. Marnie at ground level. Playing around the arc of 50 here. St Kevin's picked up by Hill, the big V skipper this year, goes in the prior direction. Gunson and Seaton there of St Kevin's, and it comes the way of Liam Gunson, who kicks it blindly inside 50 with great effects, because Critchley came steaming out of it and took it on his chest, has a chance at his second.
Yeah, and they're squeezing up the ground, Old Brighton, but Sam Tucker there playing as a spare behind that gap between Hope, who's playing as the deepest for Old Brighton, but good little re-entry there, and Critchley looking for his second. And we talked about it a bit earlier, but the last 2 weeks they gave up 5 goals to James Stewart and then 5 to Andreas Stefanakis, so it could be another big day for this guy.
So left half forward, 35 metres. Critch has got his kicking boots on, I reckon. He's got a couple. 2-1-13 St Kevin's, 2-3-15 Old Brighton. We've played 3 minutes of the second term thanks to 40 Winks of Paran, Fitzroy and South Wharf, a new sponsor in 2025. Family-owned bedding retail specialist, stocking the widest range of mattresses and bedroom furniture. Contact past St Kevin's player and current parent David Williams if you need anything further. Sam Critchley, Matthew Don, we've seen him kicking at goal this year. Sometimes it's looked, I think the word is uninspiring, but halfway down through the season, he's certainly got his radar working.
Well, yeah, it's maybe uninspiring for the season, but certainly effective today. 2 straight, and at important times as well. The Tunners getting a couple of goals, and it looks like it's going to be a game where goals are hard to come by. So when you get set shots, you've got to make the most of them. Critchley has done that to this point. 2 from 2. Tossed up in the centre once again. Winter got the hand pass out to Hodges, but he slipped in the mud. understandable in these conditions, and another stoppage. So Sam Cameron there is looking like a mixture of Manny Liddy with the leg sleeve and Jeremy Howe with the arm sleeve there. He's just, it's covered in mud. Tell you what, for the Cameron showers and washing machine, big week ahead.
Oh dear. Just about to throw it away afterwards.
They're going to be working overtime.
He's wearing half the oval.
At least he's got the double bye to give it a couple of runs.
You can't leave those boots to stay in the mud for a week, I'll tell you that much.
No, they're not coming inside for quite a while, those boots. Coates tapped it out. Seeger was the only one who got anywhere near it. The ball stopped again. And Hodges played for the bounce. That was a big mistake. He's going to get the hand pass now that he's caught in the tackle. And it will be another stoppage. It was Langworthy who applied the tackle. Yeah, Hodges expected it to bounce. Can't be doing that in these conditions, not in that mud patch. Coates punches it well out of there. And then Darmody gathers it on the boot, kicks up towards half forward, and Ducci's been paid the mark. Well, I thought Brighton defender got a fist to that, but not according to the umpire. And now Vincent Ducci's taken a couple of nice marks inside attacking 50. Will get another opportunity to goal here.
Yeah, has a chance to put him in front as well for the first time today, Vince Ducci. Former Box Hill Hawk, of course, who such a strong player at the Hawks that he was just about offered a spot at Hawthorn by Sam Mitchell. He's got some business ventures outside of footy as well. Well put together young man.
He kicked the goal last week, but it's his only goal of the campaign thus far at Ducci. He'll be kicking from just inside 50 when he lets it go. It's got the carry, and it's gone all the way home. Vincent Ducci with goals in consecutive weeks. St Kevin's have 3 in a row, and they've taken the lead here. 3-1-19 plays 2-3-15, and that's on the second term scoreboard for 40 weeks. Vincent Ducci on the board.
First lead since the early parts of the game, but Box Hill Hawks, they do love a lively small forward, don't they? They end up playing in the VAFA, so Vince Ducci. But again, it's just, that's the thing, it's hard as a defender too, those quick kicks out of stoppage, and you're playing from behind, and the ball just falling flat there, and again, taking a strong intercept mark, but that ball would be pretty heavy for how much you spent time in the mud just there in the patch of that quarter.
It is an interesting relationship between the two parts of the ground. You've got the middle, which is very slow and gluggy, and the outside, which is a fast track. And both clubs intent on trying to get it to the fast track and then play it their way. Taken by Ferguson, who rages forward. He's run down from behind. He was having a ping at goal. Campili got him. And a good thing it was for the Tunners. Wins himself a free kick at centre-half back and then switches it long and carefully. And they'll come through the left half-back line here with Fanning. And he's going to try and tee up Seagar. The kick carried him and Seaton picked it off. So they just can't escape the defensive half at the moment, the Tunners. Seaton in front of the Old Brighton bench. St Kevin's leading by 4 points, as you mentioned, Pat, for the first time since the opening stages of this contest. Inside 50 goes Seaton. The fist came from Fanning. Edgar after it at ground level. He let it go. Hacked out of there. Pryor back with the flight. Took it on the third attempt. There is no one ahead for him to kick to. So he's going to kick it for space. And Hope's going to charge after it. Picks up the footy. It slipped through his hands. Dexter Prime's with him now. Prime is riding him hard. He did so well. He held up time for Matheson, but Matheson was caught. And Old Brighton will have a shot at goal 25 metres out directly in front. And it will be Jamie Hope after all. He'll be called back here to take his kick. Pryor waiting in the goal square, got the handball from Hope, who came off his line to give it to him. That was an instance, Pat, of two players not willing to give up, Jamie Hope and Dexter Prime. In the end, it's going to be Hope who looks like he'll have the last laugh.
Yeah, and it's fun watching that when it's just a 1v1 in the forward line, but that was what Marcel Bruin spoke about at quarter time, just the kicking the grass, just taking the territory, knowing that they've squeezed up the ground, and they really just have a genuine 1v1, and they're backing Hope in 9 times out of 10.
So the man with half an acre of real estate to the left of your radio dial at the High Street end of the TH King Oval, 25 metres out directly in front for his second of the day. Jamie Hope has missed to the left-hand side. All that good work, nothing comes of it. Well, one behind does come of it. Old Brighton moved to 2-4-16. St Kevin's 3-1-19, 8.5 gone for 40 winks. Matthew Donald.
It's like in a game where goals are going to be hard to come by. You've got to make the most of those set shots. Coates, who tried to come from behind, but it was Flockhart in front who took the mark from the Tucker kick in. He can send the Tunners back inside 50 here, can Flockhart. He does look to spear a pass into the pocket now. Huge pack of players, no one able to take the mark cleanly. Tucker was most likely. Hope got the hand pass away, then Matheson, he's in trouble, he's caught. But the umpire says no, we'll ball it up.
Saw Daisy Flockhart here today. of course, the Hawthorn AFLW player, will probably make her debut in her first season in the W ladder this year.
It's a good footballing family, the Flockharts. Coates taps it down. Richards was there, looks to give the hand pass back to Coates, who just gets ball to boot. And there's Gus Cork again, who's taken an intercept mark. He doesn't think he's within range. He's hand passed it over to Campili, then to Branson, who goes into the pocket. Bouncing ball, taken high. Coates a bit reckless going in there. He thought it was a ruck contest.
That might be Hope again, I reckon.
And he's caught his man high. It is Jamie Hope. So we'll get another opportunity to goal here, Jamie Hope. It's been the most reliable route to goal for the Tunners thus far. He's already kicked one.
1-2, doesn't he? He's had a couple of siders, so could be kicking for his fourth.
The ball sounds heavy and hard as well from that time it's spent in the middle, so I feel like this is, you want to get the towel out and almost give it a drive, try to see if you can swap it.
So Hope plays on to the right boot, hooks around the body. It's not coming back. It's going to land in the goal square. It's still alive here, though, for the Tunners. If someone could pick the footy up cleanly. Travers was there, although Dillamitru gets the hand pass away, and St Kevin's will look to get things out of trouble. Ferguson picked up the hand pass but ran out of room, and it's over the line for a boundary throw in.
So 19 plays 16 at the TH King Oval.
It's a notoriously difficult pocket, that one. You've got to be very good to kick a goal from that pocket.
Yeah, Jamie Hope tried to go around the body and hit the wrong side of the footy. Coates may be held onto in the ruck there. We'll get a free kick. Olivier just a little bit too busy. And St Kevin's will take the advantage. It was Hodges to Seaton. He's going to go to Mansfield, who's got Cork for speed, but Cork's got him in the air. Great effort from Gussie Cork, who clears the zone. Unfortunately, lets himself down with a disposal, kicks it out of bounds on the full and pretty much into the creek, I reckon. So Gus Phillips will head off the ground and try and retrieve that football. We are, of course, already down one, Sharon. No harm done this time. Phillips has got the footy.
Liked Cork's endeavour, though, in this game thus far.
He's been super. Gus Cork on debut, the 22-year-old. Described himself as 190 centimetres tall. The kick from Phillips was no good. It puts the ball into a dangerous space. Old Brighton back inside 50 where Hope has room again. Prime, too good. Won the footy, gave it back to Phillips. He's going to try and brush up on his earlier mistake and does so. Here's Gunson, Gardeners Creek side.
So now Gunson held up here. So he's going to come back to Seaton on the half-back flank. He's going to go on for a bit of a run here. Look for Dillamitru, who had a bit of pressure to deal with. He made it well. Now he's called to go. It's okay because he's got Tucker running alongside, who drives it up the ground, looking for Coates, who was knocked away from him. And then that's a good tackle by Ferguson. That's holding the ball. Fanning was dispossessed. That's a good effort there by the Scoppers, number 23. 2 kicks from goal. He's going to want to try and spear this one into the pocket, but it's ill-directed, it's wide, and it's out on the full.
Even if you hit a target there, just such a hard shot from that angle. You know, almost going to the hot spot would have been a better option.
Pat Cortazzo, our special comments, thanks to Hit IQ's game-changing Protect Concussion Management system. And Campili now has it on the back flank. They've switched the play here, the Tunners, but Campili's been held up. So he's got to go back to Montanaro. And they're going to come back to Pryor. It's very close to the boundary line, just inside the field of play.
Both teams really don't want to go long down the line. They're really trying to switch the ball around and not take anything like that.
That's a low dart that's been turned over. Dillamitru to Ferguson. Can they hit them on the break here? Going towards full forward. Mansfield was there, brought it to ground, couldn't take the mark, then applies the tackle. Richardson on the goal line, gets the hand pass across, and now Butler, the former Bulldog, comes out towards the back flank. It's knocked away, it's in dispute still. Travers was there, Butler once more, gets a kick further afield. This one is been turned over too. Seaton marks on centre wing.
Full time at St Kevin's this year, Anthony Seaton, former skipper of Sandringham VFL, which will be a standalone club next year in the VFL after splitting with St Kilda. St Kevin's on the long switch. Tucker takes it on the bounce. Right half back. He's the last man in the chain and kicks it skimmingly along the commentary wing, if that's a word. Richards paddles it to his own advantage and wins the footy. Back into the corridor. Guns nearly slipped over. Nearly being the operative word. Just took the mark and then went back to the other side. Gardeners Creek wing. So they are switching like mad, St Kevin's. Now the kick comes inside 50. Jones is there. Mansfield's deepest. It goes over the head of both. And it's rattling around on the boundary line. Still in. Jones has the footy. Feeds it back. Barnett. Left forward pocket. Left foot banana. You are joking! Sam Barnett has kicked 28 goals on the season, and you won't see many finer than that in his highlight reel of 2025, which will be lengthy, Matthew Donald. He drills it from a difficult angle with a wet, heavy footy and puts St Kevin's 9 points clear. 4-1-25. Old Brighton 2-4-16. 14 and a half gone in the second term, thanks to 40 Winks.
Well, there is your sole financial goal of the day contender at the moment. We've still got a bit of footy to play, but they're really just wanting to just see if they test this Old Brighton defence by switching. Obviously, the concern is with that middle of the ground. You've got to be careful when you're trying to kick into that middle because it is hard, a bit slippery on foot, but really good movement of the football, and St Kevin's getting their fourth of the day.
Winter, good strength to keep his body upright and get a hand pass to Marnie, but he was tackled. Yeah, more switches here than a radio panel, Paddy Grindlay.
Oh, said like a panel operator.
Yeah, it's they've been quick to move the ball from one side to the other, both sides. Winter with the free kick for a high tackle.
There he goes, he handballs it.
there is a handball.
He's had some feedback, Lukey.
Yeah, someone had a word in his ear at quarter time. Kick inside 50. Should be cleared here by the Tunners. Comes out towards the back flank. Gregson going back with the flight. Couldn't take it. And then Seaton was taken strongly in a tackle by Langworthy.
That's the problem with the middle of the ground. So much mud on your studs there. The minute you get to the wings, you just fall over. You just saw there on that play, just trying to get to the ball.
We saw Marnie have to change direction in the mud a minute ago, and it was a terrifying sight. It trickles towards the boundary line and out for a throw. And just one other one here on Winter. I've got some stats. Averages 24 possessions this season, Winter. Someone on this commentary team has at a career high 24 touches at this ground.
All right, well,
I'll let you figure out who that might be.
I don't think I ever got past under 15s, Matty, and I'm not quite sure about Pat, but I reckon it could be you. I'll be studying that one at halftime.
Ferguson gets the hand pass out to Winter. There's a kick. That's gone high. It's gone 15 high. Oh, going back with a flight. Great effort shown in the air there by Phillips. No mark taken. It's played on Butler. Gets the hand pass back. Hill's going to receive it now in the back pocket. Can he find a teammate coming out of defence? No, it goes over the head there. Gunson, he tries to gather it, but he's caught in a tackle, and at half forward, there'll be another stoppage. It's St Kevin's who have kicked 4 in a row here. 4-1 plays 2-4. Second quarter scoreboard for 40 Winks.
And for Garvey and company, real estate, it's Collegians 21 leading Old Scotch 11. That game's streaming on VAFA.com.au if you're interested as the kick goes inside 50. Butler nearly brought it down. Aducci's got it at ground level. He'll turn to the right foot and he'll snap it. It was short and Murray tries to spoil it out of bounds and does so well. It's over the line, out of play. The other results around the competition, University Blues 39 leading De La Salle 20. Oldsavarians 43 leading St Bernard 6, and the University Blacks and Old Haileybury is on tomorrow, so no score from that game naturally. The Sunday 2 p.m. game at Melbourne Uni Oval. Might mosey on down, Matty Donald. This ball is thrown in the left forward pocket for St Kevin's. Just about where Sam Barnett kicked that ripping goal a few minutes ago. It's taken by Hill. The handball was hot. Marnie Jack kicks a goal on the left boot. Rolled it through from 12 metres out. It was a quick fire thing. I think he actually kicked it straight to the goal umpire.
He smashed the goal umpire with that kick.
Who was battling on manfully after signalling the goal. And St Kevin's have got a real run on here after Old Brighton started this game better. That's 5 goals in a row, 4 goals in this second term. Marnie's got his first.
He held pretty well there, the goal umpire. Muddy football, copying one like that can put you down for a few days. But yeah, Harry Hill's been having a bit of impact, Harry Hill, but that was just not like him, just that poor handball, just a little bit under pressure there, just threw it almost to Marnie, and Marnie just let him know about it too on the reply. But a really good quarter by St Kevin's. They've used the conditions pretty well and they've given themselves a nice margin.
11 score involvements from his 30 touches, Jack Marnie, last week, but that's just his second goal of the season. And as Paddy Grindlay mentioned, St Kevin's have got 5 in a row here. And the Tunners need to find a response quickly. Kick up towards half forward. Tucker was held without it. The umpire waved play on. He was looking for the free kick there, Tucker, as well. Meanwhile, the hand pass comes inside 50. Trying to charge out to meet it there was Travers. And Dimitri was in there. He was taken in a tackle, and will be another stoppage. Inside attacking 50 now for Old Brighton, who kicked the first 2 goals of the game and were looking good early. But St Kevin's since then have started to find the big sticks. Flockhart taps it down. There's Hill, steps towards goal. bouncing ball into the pocket. Won't be a score. Seaton's going to come out and meet it. Tackle by Travis. Gets the hand pass out to Gunson, who had a fumble. Carianis applying the pressure on him. Gunson somehow just got boot to ball at the last. Then Gregson was in there. Matheson with a hand pass out to Phillips. He's pinned by the arm. Then the umpire blows his whistle and says, I'll have it here in the forward pocket for the Tunners.
Yeah, just a bit of time in front half now for Old Brighton off the momentum that St Kevin's have had. It's been really important just keeping it in their front half.
Ferguson on the left boot, hooks it around the body, and that will work. Taking it half back for St Kevin's. They'll hold on to possession here. Phillips gets the hand pass across to Matheson. Oof. He's nearly missed his foot there. Cork, Gregson looking there for Fisher, who goes inside 50, and coming out taking the mark was Yonde Olivier on debut in the pocket.
Well, that started from Gregson there. Really good smother and pressure. They look like they're going to be out on their way, St Kevin's, from that D50 exit, but get the forward half intercept and now get a shot on goal.
Yeah, season debut for Yonde Olivier, who played and told a bit of footy a few years ago, and this is my favourite stat of the day, Matt Donald. 150 grand on Millionaire hot seat.
It's not a bad effort there from Olivier. Your lineup from the forward pocket here will be a tough kick. Olivier goes for goal. It's gone across the face. He needed to phone a friend there. That's gone out of play for a boundary throw in.
I set him up, you knock him down, Matthew Donald. Do we know what the question was yet?
We don't. We've got to find that out. Like, before we wrap things up today, we've got to know what the question is.
If there's someone who is familiar with the 2017 showing of Millionaire Hot Seat, get involved. We need to know how Yonde Olivier had 50k come his way as it's thrown in. Felix Flockhart with the footy. He's tackled straight away. It'll be thrown up again. There's a little bit going on here between Cal Jones and Tom Fisher, who never needs a bit of inspiration, does Tommy Fisher. All's well that ends well. Felix Flockhart palms it down once more. Hodges just couldn't quite pick the ball up. He's got a ton and out of tackle. We'll do it all again inside 50. So, Pat, a little bit of a lull in this game. What can Old Brighton do to get back in front?
Well, it's just trying to cover these outlets a bit better, particularly that they're getting these forward 50 stoppages. That's where they've either given away a free kick or the exit that's found an uncontested mark and allows St Kevin's to play a bit more of a possession game. So just having a bit of time in front half from the momentum that, they've got a free kick now anyway. Old Brighton and Ben Pryor getting it. So they've probably got the thing is, though, when you're looking at these conditions too, the last couple of shots they've had on goal, the ball's just died with the wind. So they probably need to find either another mark or trying to play on here from get a bit shorter distance. But this is a good little patchy because, yes, St Kevin's did have a lot of momentum in the last 10 minutes. So just getting a few 450 stoppages and getting a couple of shots on goal is not a bad thing here for Old Brighton.
So Pryor, 35 metres out. He was slung to ground without the footy. Has the shot and he's pushed it very, very wide. In the end, he was lucky to score. In fact, Ben Pryor misses to the right. So Old Brighton just moving along by points, 2-5-17. St Kevin's 5-1-31, 22 minutes gone for 40 winks in the second term, Matty.
16-16 for the year for Pryor with that minor. Short kick in the back line. Works this time to Matheson, who's got a couple of numbers out wide here. Tucker kept running, takes the mark despite the efforts of Seager. Sam Tucker.
Oh,
central kick. He's kicked it right into the mud patch. The bravest man on the field is Sam Tucker, and there's going to be a free kick going the way of the Scobbers. Winter, who was just lapping up these conditions in the middle of the ground.
That kick has been on, but when you got that much of a mud patch there, I'm surprised they're still trying to go for it, but it did work on that occasion.
Great kick from Winter to Ferguson as well. Inch perfect. Who wants to come back in board? He's got a man at centre half forward. And is that Critchley once again? And he's turned his back on his teammates. In fact, it's Barnett, my apologies. He's had no doubt in his mind. He's burned them all, turning his back on them all, saying, I'm going to go for goal here, said Sam Barnett, who's already got one today. It was a beauty as well. Banana from the forward pocket. This will be equally good from outside 50. Not much of an angle to speak of, but it require all of his kicking power, Barnett. Launches it. It's going to go close. And it might have just been offline. Wasn't too far away, but a minor score to the Scobbers into Barnett. 5-2 to 2-5 in the second term. It's a 7-8-point lead to St Kevin's. 23.5 gone on the 40-wing scoreboard.
So Campielli and Butler for Old Brighton have worked themselves into a bit of a spot of bother. So Campielli just has to kick it as high and as long as he can through right half back. He'll one of the flyers for the Tunners. Hodges comes through. Gregson collared him and brought him down holding the footy.
Put a saddle on him.
Evocative messaging there from the bench. As Gregson from right half back has the footy. 32 plays 17, as you mentioned. Matty Donald on that left into neutral territory, and Phillips was the only player interested in marking the ball, so the ball was turned over. St Kevin's now with it. Gardeners Creek wing side. And it's a game of long kicks in the last 5 minutes. Phillips inside 50. Who's the leaper? It's brought down in front. That might be Cork again, I think. It was one of the players involved. Sam Cameron on the scene to try and contest things. In fact, it was Butler who took the mark for Brighton, and now it's Fanning. Left back pocket, runs his full measure, handballs it over the head well and truly of Richardson. And it sails out of bounds where it will be thrown in intersection of the forward 50-metre arc and the boundary line for St Kevin's.
And passed out on the full. You don't see that too often.
Feels like St Kevin's got the extra defender with the conditions at the moment there. Just that trying to get some speed on the ball, but just couldn't exit there. And this is important forward 50 stoppage here for Old Brighton defence.
So it'll be tossed in here at half forward for St Kevin's. Lands inside attacking 50. There is Butler, the former Bulldog. Kicks out towards the centre of the ground. Carianis has got to run through the mud, but he left the footy behind. And then Pryor goes to ground in the mud. Hanging off the ground. He caught that well, Langworthy, in the conditions. Up towards half forward. Then Hope with a strong tackle locks things up for the Tunners. And on the edge of the square, it'll be a ball up once again.
There's a territory that they need Old Brighton just to get it to space, get it to grass, get into their front half.
Flockhart slaps it forward, running onto it. There is Hill, who's within range. Harry Hill! And it's just bounced wide. He had a good look at it there, did Hill. He searched for it a couple of times now in this second term towards goal. That time it was offline. 2-6-18 Old Brighton. Inaccuracy costing them. St Kevin's 5-2-32. And that's on the second quarter scoreboard for 40 Winks.
Reckon without a heavy footy, Harry Hill, that would have been going through at three-quarter post height. St Kevin's long bailout kick. Tucker from 3 deep. Olivier had 3/5 of it. Hodges at ground level. Ferguson speeds away, darts to the inside, takes a running bounce, and then spreads the ball perfectly. Tommy Ferguson, he's such a classy operator. Found Phillips, who has Gunson riding shotgun, and now Mansfield inside 50. That was beautiful movement from St Kevin's. That'll be in the review on Monday, I think, Pat.
Yeah, and that's just what they wanted to do. Once they can get that, hit that 45 or try to get the ball to the open side, they want to use their work rate and speed there, and they've been able, that's where they've scored most of their goals this quarter, from that really fast, slick ball movement and taking risks. For Old Brighton, it's probably just the difference between St Kevin's and Old Brighton. St Kevin's really probably handled the fact that they were playing against the conditions in the first quarter by just having a lot of repeat stoppages and just making it a real arm wrestle.
Mansfield 40 metres out left, half forward, won't make the distance. Critchley from 3 deep, nearly brought it down. Butler has it for Old Brighton. Cameron's got him in the goal square. It spills loose. Marnie is lurking. Edgar let the ball roll out of bounds rather than possess it and potentially lose the footy 5 metres out from goal. It will be thrown in right forward pocket for St Kevin's.
Just got to hold on here, Old Brighton. There's probably not long left in the quarter, but I feel like if they can, this margin going into half time, at least they've got some opportunity going in the third quarter.
27 minutes gone here in this second term.
It's looking like another goals quarter at the moment for Old Brighton.
St Kevin's have kicked 4 goals to 1. Coates had front spot. Couldn't tap it down to a teammate. Branson was in there applying the tackle on Critchley. We'll have a stoppage once more. It's an impressive effort for St Kevin's, considering all the defenders that they've lost to injury in the opening term, to keep Brighton at bay in this term. It's more than a fair effort. Marnie with a tackle on there, Branson. Sorry there, Pat.
No, so the best defender of all is the conditions at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
For him.
We've got that gatekeeper in the middle of the ground as well, which is covering about an acre of space. Coach grabbed it out of the ruck, looked to snap towards goal, but it was smothered. Hand pass comes over the top, and it's come out now to Richardson, to Campili, back to Butler, who just clears it out of the defensive area. Can Brighton maintain possession here? They could do. Hope is a long way up the ground. Montanaro gathered it, goes up the line. It's been turned over though. St Kevin's will win it back. Kick to Hodges in the middle of the ground. He comes back over his mark now, does Cam Hodges. It's been held up, but he's just going to want to drive this long inside attacking 50. Mansfield with a fly over the top, couldn't take the mark. Then Hope's crashing in there, and then Mansfield applying a tackle. And another stoppage inside 50 here for the Scobbers.
I was a bit concerned for Jamie Hope because it looks like he's lost his half acre of space at the High Street end of the TH King Oval. inside 50 here for St Kevin's. Edgar was the handball option, didn't receive it. It's a tumbling kick out instead. Richards should clean up for St Kevin's. It's a bouncing ball. Underground handball, wants Seaton, who dodges around the tackle, goes back to Richards. He hacks it back inside 50. It's St Kevin's dominating territory. Mansfield flew against 2. Cameron took the spillage. Phillips on the outside of the right boot. Critchley on the line. He missed his boots. Sam Critchley has missed his boots. And Old Brighton will run it through for a rush behind. Well, Sam Critchley, might have been some pressure from the Tunners defence, but one goes begging for St Kevin's. 33 plays 18. Old Brighton move it down the broadcast side. Seagar has it spoiled. Fisher tackles Hodges, and the ball will make its way just about over the white line and out to be thrown in by the field umpire, who calls a stoppage.
Big opportunity there for St Kevin's as we approach half-time. They've kicked the last 5 goals in a row, and it's going to be balled up right across the boundary line. That's out on the full. That should be out of bounds on the full because Coates tapped it over the boundary line on the full. So it is a free kick going the way of Old Brighton. It's a rare rule that you see in these games, but the umpire was all over it.
Well umpired here, St Kevin's.
Huge fly over the top there from Tucker to knock that towards the boundary line, and it's still in play. It was a good smother there by Matheson to prevent Brighton from going forward. The ball somehow stayed in the field of play, and we'll have another stoppage, another ball up right along the boundary line. Now, Billy Coates, don't tap it over the line on the full this time.
I think they've thrown that lever. Cal Jones, Matty and Pat going behind the footy.
So it does stay inside the field of play. Hill was there.
And I guess with that, Old Brighton squeezing up the ground a little bit and trying to play one inside the stoppage, you're going to get a spare for St Kevin's at some point.
Richards runs onto the tap down from Coates as the siren sounds for half-time. And what an impressive second term it was from St Kevin's, who were trailing by 7 points at half-time, who kicked 4 goals to none in the term, including the last 5 in a row, to take a 15-point lead into the main break. At half-time, St Kevin's 5-3-33, Old Brighton 2-6-18.
2 for Sam Critchley, Aducci, Barnett and Marnie, the other goal kickers for the Scobbers. Hope and Campearly with singles for Old Brighton. Let's take a break on the SEN Match of the Day. On the other side of this is our halftime show. Looking forward to conversations with St Kevin's President Paddy Mountain and Old Brighton Director of Coaching Greg Hutchison. More after this.
The Big V is back. The VAFA's best men and women will pull on the mighty Big V in its centenary year this Saturday at Sports Cover Arena, Elstonwick Park, thanks to City Power. Our women face the Western Australians from 1 p.m, with the men to follow from 3:30. Don't let the Big V down. Be there at Sports Cover Arena or watch all the action live and free at vafa.com.au.
Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
The Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Star Award recognises the competition's most talented young players. Each week, the VAFA Rising Star Committee receives nominations for 1 male and 1 female player, aged 20 years or under, who played no more than 7 senior games before this season. Our overall season winners will be declared the Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Stars for 2025. So, if your club has a young gun making their mark, nominate them now at media@vafa.com.au.
Tickets are now on sale for the VAFA's 2025 Big V Gala Dinner presented by City Power. It's a landmark event, the largest function the VAFA has ever staged, and it's celebrating 100 years of Big V representative football. This historic evening will serve as the official opening to the Rep Football Weekend, offering a unique opportunity to honour the legacy of the Big V and its enduring significance within the VAFA community. The Big V Gala Dinner will bring together past players, coaches, club representatives and supporters to reflect on a century of tradition, achievement and pride. The evening promises to be one of the most significant in the VAFA's history. You don't want to miss it. It's at Centrepiece at Melbourne Park, Thursday the 10th of July 2025. Tickets now on sale at vafa.com.au. Is your club celebrating a player milestone? Let us know at VAFA Media and we'll feature it in the Amateur Footballer. We're always on the lookout for stories that acknowledge outstanding achievements and the clubs behind them. Email us at media@vafa.com.au.
Listen in to the award-winning VAFA William Buck Premier Men's SEN Match of the Day this Saturday afternoon on SEN's new no-delay streaming product, SEN Stadium. That's VAFA Footy, live with no delay, Saturday from 1:45 p.m. Listen via the app.
Half-time at the TH King Oval, where we find St Kevin's 5-3-33 leading Old Brighton 2-6-18. It was the Tunners by 7 points at quarter time. They kicked 4 behind. St Kevin's kicked 4 goals, 2 in that second quarter. It's the home squad with the upper hand as we turn for home. The story out of the first quarter was Angus Hart and his lower leg injury, which has seen him ruled out of the game. And Sam Milne also with a knee problem, left knee problem, hurt in that first quarter. And he missed out on the contest from that point onwards. We haven't seen him back out there, so assuming he is done as well. We'll confirm that with Raj Johnston in a few minutes' time as part of our halftime show. And that is, of course, all thanks to Tilling Timber. They're a family-owned business and Australia's largest wholesaler of engineered wood products, including the Smart Frame range of products, headed up by past squad player Glenn Tilling. And you can visit tilling.com.au for more. That's tilling.com.au. Very special guest in the commentary box for our halftime show. It is the Old Brighton Director of Coaching and often featured in VAFA Media this year, Greg Hutchison. Hello, Hutch.
Hey, Paddy, how are you?
It's good to see. I haven't seen you since the corresponding matchup back at Brighton Beach Oval. Well, it was the Tunners by under a kick in the last few minutes, which seems to be the story for Old Brighton versus St Kevin's games of late.
Yeah, look, it's always a good competition between both teams. They respect each other, and always a good day to get out here. And they've actually turned out a good deck today and fantastic conditions. So it's a good competition so far.
Yeah, it's been a cracking year. Now, I want to talk to you about one particular thing, and you'll know this is coming, because you happened to coach a little team called the Big V last year that went over to take on the Perth Footy League and fell foul of some football tampering, let's call it, with playing with the Burleys rather than the Sherrans, which certainly confused Charlie Cormack and friends down back. We don't have a final 22 yet for the Big V men's contest, but it is next weekend, and we do have a captain, though. Harry Hill leads the squad again. Yeah, fantastic. Really looking forward to the contest. It'll be really good. Congratulations to Harry and all the players that have been selected. And I think there may only be 6 players that have that played last year that are in the team again. So that's a really good thing. That's been given another 16 players an opportunity to represent the Big V. It'll be a good challenge again. Perth have been really competitive over the last 2 years. So no, we're looking forward to it, and they'll be well led by Harry Hill, who's a star of the competition, as we know. Yeah, we have the Big V Gala coming up Thursday night, 6 p.m, Centrepiece at Melbourne Park. You can still, I believe, get your tickets for that event. It's going to be the biggest showcase the VAFA has ever put on, so make sure you get on down 6 p.m, Melbourne Park, Centrepiece for the Big V Gala presented by City Power. We won't give too much away with the squad, but you want to keep your eye across vafa.com.au for any news relating to that. How was your experience as coach of the Big V team, Greg? It was a wonderful experience for me going over and seeing the game played out at Bassendean. I didn't quite get to call it from the venue, but that's another story. It seemed that you had this great connection with the players, and also you and the players had a great understanding of what it meant to represent the Amos. Yeah, look, I'm very fortunate to have been able to do it for 2 years, Paddy. It was a great honour and a really privilege to be able to coach and represent the VAFA and to be able to coach the elite players in the competition. It really is a good thing and a very, very fortunate thing. We were a bit unlucky last year with the weather and the Burley footies and a few other things, like even subtle little things about rule changes that we don't play with here that they play with over there. So, but back on our home deck against the Perth team at Elstonwick Park, I'm sure all the players will compete really well. But as I said, it was a privilege and an honour to be able to do it. And Daniel Harford, the coach of the Big V senior men's squad this year, I was expecting to see him actually at the TH King, but he might just be watching on for a few other contests at home as he finalises his team. Have you got any favourites from the last couple of years that you really enjoyed coaching?
Look, they were all good. I really,
Putting you on the spot.
No, I was really privileged to coach them. It was, you get to meet a lot of players, and you're really, really fortunate in the position. And the other thing that's been really good for it is your interaction with the coaches as well. Like, I'd been coaching against them for 7 or 8 years, and then to have to rely on them to give me their best players, it's a really wonderful thing. And credit to the coaches, they really get behind it and support it, and they put up their best players. And it'd be easy for them to sort of not encourage it, but they encourage it strongly. It's a wonderful thing, and it's a fantastic opportunity. And Paddy, I concur with you fully. If anyone can get there Thursday night, they'll have a wonderful night. There'll be some fantastic stories and tales, and you'll meet some wonderful people. But no, I'm extremely fortunate. It was a wonderful thing. Favourites? Not really, but you've got to be a bit careful with this. They're all favourites.
We are at the TH King Pavilion. So.
There was a couple of favourites from Elstonwick Park when we had to kick that goal. Charlie McIsaac at Elstonwick Park, it was unbelievable when he had to kick those goals to get us back from being 3 goals down after being 5 goals up. We nearly lost the unlosable game. So anyway, it was a good experience.
Greg, the way you talk about it, it sounds like you loved every moment of the experience. But when you reflect on it just on your own for a moment, is there a particular favourite sort of moment or memory that comes to mind for you that really stands out?
Yeah, look, the drawn game at Elstonwick Park was just incredible. As I said, just before half-time, we're going to win by 10 goals. There was no doubt about that. We were just dominating the game. Then Perth changed the way they were going about things, and with 10 minutes to go, we're going to get beaten by 5 goals. So some things happened. There was a free kick at centre-half back, and we got a 50-metre penalty, and then we were able to have a shot at goal. And the way the players just stood up, the memory of just when the ball was going into the goal square and the Perth bloke had the shot from 45, and I'd seen him before the game, and you think, this bloke's going to drill this. And then all of our players rose up in the goal square and had the foresight to punch it back into play as opposed to just punching it through. So that was a key highlight. And the other highlight was running out at Perth and using burly footies and our blokes not being able to kick it. Like, Dane Harvey is a beautiful kick. James Tarrant's a beautiful kick. And the ball just fallen off their foot. It was just extraordinary. So highlight, low light.
Yeah, and you mentioned some of the differences. The Burley football, I concur with you. I had one of those growing up. Nothing beats a good old Sharon. You mentioned the rules, though. They play by slightly different rules. What were some examples of that? Because that's very interesting.
Yeah, we had the stand rule.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure we had the 666 rule as well, which we don't play with. So the stand rule is, that was all new to us. So those 2 rule changes was a little bit difficult to deal with. It wasn't the difference between winning and losing, by the way, but it's just a couple of little subtle differences.
No last touch out of bounds, because I know in South Australia they run with
that. No, they don't have the last touch out of bounds. No, we didn't have that. So wonderful experience, though.
We dodged that one. And just a heads up that if you do want to see the Big V contest, you can get along to Sports Cover Arena, Elstonwick Park, next Saturday afternoon from 1 p.m. The women's game, coached by Paul Groves and skippered by Taylor Watson this year out of West Brunswick, and the men's from 3:30. Tickets at the gate for $10. And then, Hutch, if you haven't had your fill, you can go up to the Bendigo Footy League game out at Elstonwick Park. Tickets also at the gate there, and if you have to stay at home, you can watch every single Big V game streaming live and free next weekend at vafa.com.au. Hutch, we'll let you go. A final word on this game in front of us. Your beloved Tunners falling a little bit behind of the Scobbers. Can they respond in the second half?
Yeah, look, I think Brighton have done reasonably well to be where they are. Scobbers have been pretty fortunate kicking as accurately as they have. It'll be challenging. Brighton have got a lot of players out, and I'm not making excuses for them, but they have got a lot. I don't know what it is to the people down at Brighton, but somehow this happens every year that they just get the Tullamarine and
the classic.
have the Tullamarine virus, and away they go.
So it's infectious.
It's a nasty bit of business, that one.
But still, they've got their midfield to still, Harry's still there. Felix Flockhart's been going pretty well. Good battle between him and Coatsy, and I remember the game from 22 when they played in the grand final. It was a good contest as well. Fisher, matching up against Luke Winter and Cam Hodges as well. So it's a good contest, a really good contest, and fingers crossed that the Tunners can get the job done.
Hutchie, thanks for your time on the halftime show. I'll see you Thursday.
Cheers.
Greg Hutchison, the Director of Coaching at Old Brighton, to join us on the Tilling Timber halftime show. The second half on the other side of this.
The Big V is back. The VAFA's best men and women will pull on the mighty Big V in its centenary year this Saturday at Sports Cover Arena, Elstonwick Park, thanks to City Power. Our women face the Western Australians from 1 p.m, with the men to follow from 3:30. Don't let the Big V down. Be there at Sports Cover Arena or watch all the action live and free at vafa.com.au.
Are Are you looking to grow your business? William Buck are more than just accountants and advisors who can develop strategic growth plans for your business. With over 125 years' experience, William Buck has expertise in navigating through challenging times and has been working closely with the VAFA community, creating positive change for individuals, businesses and community organisations. William Buck's team of specialist advisors work collaboratively, providing you with 360 support. Schedule a complimentary consultation today by visiting williambuck.com.
Hey guys, at GYG we never compromise on the quality of our food. That's why we only serve 100% free-range chicken. We're on a mission to reinvent fast food, because who said fast food had to be bad food? Love ya.
The Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Star Award recognises the competition's most talented young players. Each week, the VAFA Rising Star Committee receives nominations for one male and one female player, aged 20 years or under, who played no more than 7 senior games before this season. Our overall season winners will be declared the Anytime Fitness VAFA Rising Stars for 2025. So, if your club has a young gun making their mark, nominate them now at media@vafa.com.au.